Проект «7 заповедей сыновей Ноаха». Мы с вами в синагоге Брамут Далит на окраине Иерусалима, там видны иудейские горы. И сейчас будет интервью с равом Вайнером, с равом Моше Вайнером, автором книги «7 заповедей Бога». Это 3 тома, это Шулхан Арух, свод законов для народов мира, для неевреев.
How did it happen that you decided to work on the issue of Sheva Mitzvot, Bnei Noach?
I think this occurred several years ago because I am obviously a Chassid Chabad, Chassid of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe spoke about this issue 25 years ago. Intensively, the Rebbe spoke about the importance of Jewry today. Anybody that's capable to teach, influence, explain the 7 laws of Noach to the whole world, to anybody. And there's a group called Ask Noach International that are Chabad Hasidim, and they somehow came to the point, and this was also a directive of the Rebbe, that there should be something like a Shulchan Aruch, a book that condenses and brings the laws that are applicable for Bnei Noach. It's something like a Shulchan Aruch regarding the specific issues of Sheva Mitzvot Bnei Noach, and they searched different rabbis that could write this, and it finally came to me, and I was the one that got involved in it and started writing it, and thank God also finished it and doing it as a whole book to present the laws of Sheva Mitzvot in a more practical and detailed way than just a small pamphlet of explaining law 1 is don't bow down to idols, and law 2 is not to blasphemy, and not law 3, but to explain and to bring sources. The book is written in Hebrew, first of all, because that is the source language of Jewish law. And we also were sure that we must write this book in Hebrew in order to allow other rabbis that they can study and investigate and research and understand what we're saying, and not giving out blank statements saying this is permitted or this is forbidden because other rabbis would not accept. So we had to do the base information in Hebrew, and then it was translated into English. The book itself is built on 8 pieces, or 8 parts. The first part is a general introduction and explaining the general laws of Sheva Mitzvot, starting from what is the obligation, which type of people are obligated, general influence of a person and community as study, prayer, repentance, and so on. General ideas of what the code of law in general is. That was the first part, and a very important part. Second part, then the next 7 parts follow, correspondent to each of the 7 commandments. The second part is the commandment of prohibition of idol worship. The third part is the prohibition of blasphemy, not cursing God, and also each part we also extended to other subjects that are connected. For example, blasphemy, 1 chapter is talking about not to curse God, but then not to curse other people, and fear of God and honoring of God. These are all like extensions or branches of the basic idea. The 4th chapter is the prohibition of eating a live limb of an animal, Ever Menachai, which gets into all the details, but it starts getting wider because it talks about the issue of diet in general. Diet, is it important? What do I eat? Cruelty towards animals, and also involved in other laws that are commanded to Bnei Noach as getting involved or trying to change the creation, like mixture of types of animals, breeding one type or another which is forbidden, mixture of breeding trees, grafting trees. I mean, this is just an example that the law of forbidding to take a limb of an animal turns into other issues that are much more practical today, as cruelty towards animals, which is a whole issue, and it's interesting to people today, and many people are involved in the issue, and getting involved, or how far can a person today in science and in modern capabilities try to get involved in changing the environment and the world? The second volume has it in 3 parts. The first volume was speaking about the basic laws between man and God. Believing in God, idol worship, blasphemy, and even cruelty towards animals or cutting off limbs of animals is a law that man is committed straightly towards God. This is something, what we call in Hebrew, ben adam lamakom, between man and his personal God. That's pretty simple. The second volume is talking about the laws that govern between man and a fellow friend. 3 mitzvot, 3 laws, and 3 groups and big areas, which are very essential in every time, and obviously today. And there's no possibility of any community to evade all of these 3 laws. The first is murder, and the widening of murder means hurting, causing damage to other people. Not only killing, damaging, hurting, damaging property. Physically, right. And also
you said property.
Damaging property, yes. Damaging people's lives, bodies, properties. This is an expansion of 1 or 2 laws, but they come together, either theft or murder. Also, lashon hara, not to speak slander, not to speak bad about other people, is an extension of the law of murder, because you are hurting a person, you are causing him damage. This is, even though it's a spiritual type of act, but it's the spirit that's so close to the physic of a person that this is actually causing him damage.
Whether there are some things that can astonish, that can surprise the non-Jew, so to speak, reader.
Some people are astonished because they don't know or have enough knowledge of the laws at all. So they're astonished that there is such a law. But even people that do know the laws in general, but they didn't have the capability of reading or studying the details, they might be astonished at a new aspect that comes out of the law. For example, like we spoke about slander now, which is a whole new idea for Noahites, for Gentiles, which my fellow rabbis, also some of them picked up their eye and said, what's the source? Why? And I explained, this is a rational result of not to cause damage to another person. We have to understand that these laws are godly given, but they were given down to the minds of people that they should understand and rationalize and expand them, obviously not changing the base, using the base as the God-given, but whatever rationalizes and is a continuation, this also is a commitment that God commands a person to be a man, to think, to develop the thoughts, and things that are simple and obvious, he's committed. You're a good example. For you, cruelty towards animals was something very simple and obvious, and slander for you was something astonishing. I know many people that they thought that cruelty towards animals it's too much. It's my private possession. He bought the dog. Why can't he hit him? What's wrong? So what to you is simple is not obvious and simple to everybody.
Can you please tell me, do you internet users, do they have an opportunity to ask you questions?
Yes, but not straight. My connection is through Ask Ноах, which is the site that I work for, and we receive questions and we answer, and we try to explain, and many of the questions are sent to me in person to answer. But sometimes there are other rabbis on the board that they'll take the initiative or they'll already answer there, but anybody that asks through Ask Ноах should get an answer.
And one more thing about the last issue of your book that has to come out soon.
Okay, I was still in the middle of explaining that part 6 and 7 are theft, and also a very important issue is forbidden relations and marriage, divorce, and prostitution, which is a very delicate and problematic issue, and homosexuality and other issues involved. And we told the world the truth without trying to hide anything. We told them the truth. This is forbidden. This is not the way a man should act. This is maybe not forbidden, but it's different degrees of forbidden relations and the whole issue. I think we did a very, very good job on that special issue, because some colleagues that I spoke to hesitated and were afraid, what will people say, what will people accept? And we said what God says, the truth. It's an overall, a godly structure of law, which is always, also for Jews, it comes out the same thing, that in general, it looks very nice, many laws are easy, and every person has that specific case that is difficult for him, and there's his challenge. But that's the truth of the Torah. Okay, we'll speak about the last volume, the third volume, which is coming out in Hebrew. It's prepared and finished, is the law of making a judgment and establishing a court to judge people and to make laws, which is a new section, which is speaking not between man and a fellow person, but the governing of a community in general. This is the most remote area today that we have influence, because we're talking about private people in general, and we don't have a straight influence in any government or any big people that have are influencing the law. But eventually that will come also, and the more the book gets in and the more people are interested, this also will speak to them about the concern that God gave to man, that he has to establish a just and a right community with laws, and in Hebrew we call seder. There's a verb from Yeshaya, the Navi. It says, Lo tohu b'ra'ah ela l'shevet yitzara. God did not create the world for chaos, but for establishing, founding, making, building, constructing. And this is one of the basic foundations of the creation of man and the laws of Noach. To make the world into a livable place, things should be put in set rules. People know what's right and wrong. And there should be teachers and mentors and people that look over it, that the establishment is kept well.